Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Sharks win a much-needed win on home ice tonight by the score of 3-1 against the Calgary Flames. I am joined live by Eric Cura and by AJ Strong. Gentlemen, why don't you go ahead and give us a quick breakdown?
Gotcha, Landy. Thanks so much. Hope you're doing well. I don't know. Why are you laughing? AJ's smiling too much. Anyways, the Sharks win 3-1 over the Calgary Flames. Second one of the season. Patrick Marleau returns, and what an ovation he got tonight.
It was amazing. On a play.
Okay, he's lost his mind, so this is going to be great. Patrick Marleau got a huge ovation. If you check our Tealtown USA Twitter and Instagram, we had I got a nice video shot as the Sharks were coming out and Marleau coming out, the last person, huge ovation, crazy. And then when the game begins, coming through the Shark head, we see Patty is the last person coming out, which was got the place rocking.
Yeah, it's there was a little bit of speculation as to would Vlasic give up that slot or whoever's call it is, but a lot of people were kind of, eyeballing as the guys were coming out, who is going to be the last one out of the Shark head. Will Marleau return to his spot? Yes, he did. There was, during the first TV timeout, a smaller, shall we say, tribute to Marleau on the big screen. Definitely not what we saw when the Toronto Maple Leafs first came to town with Marleau, but still a very excited Sharks crowd to see him back. And hey, the Sharks are 2-0 with Marleau part of this roster right now, so you're, of course, excited about that. But we should at least talk about why we were here to begin tonight.
Yep. We want to thank the Sharks front office crew for inviting us over to a sneak peek. Well, I guess not really sneak peek. We're 2 games into the new selections of food that they're going to have at the Shark Tank this season. I'm kind of biased towards the grilled cheese. That was pretty sweet. I know you were really excited about the smoking pig. I know that I texted my mom, who's a huge Disneyland freak. So
here we go.
The Dole Whip here was pretty good. But AJ, what were your favorites?
The cheese truck grilled cheese. There's a grilled cheese thing that they're doing here that was pretty fantastic. That's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Like, I was used to everything else. For the most part, like Nick the Greek was replaced by Opa. Not the biggest thing. I'm used to Sushi Confidential. Had it a bunch of times. So a couple of them, it was fine. But I don't think we need to spend 20 minutes talking about food that you can get at the tank. So we'll get to the game. Nice to see the Sharks come out with a little bit of fire in the belly. It seems like they were able to use what happened in Chicago to their benefit. Let's also call out something that it is what it is. Calgary's playing the second game in 2 nights. They lost in Vegas last night. They probably, not the sharpest tools in the shed today for a, second game in 2 nights. Sharks, yeah, they played Chicago a couple nights ago, but who knows? Marleau maybe gives them a little bit of a rush, maybe especially to the older guys, saying, "Hey, we can still do this." So with that, I don't know. Look, you get the Meyer goal, spectacular. LeBanc, awesome, and then the peak hurdle, that was spectacular. So that's where I'm at, guys. I think it could have been 3-0, but let's. Hey, Martin Jones, I think, might have cracked the 900 save percentage. So put that one in the books. The Sharks did not allow a goal in the first 5 minutes of any period. Well, hold on. Was it anything? No. When did that first goal from Calgary? When did that happen? I don't know, but I think we're okay. So
6:43.
6:43. So there you go. So with that, AJ, checking out. I will see you about the Barracuda sometime this week. There you go. See you, everybody.
And AJ's out of here. But yeah, as we throw back to Eric Landy and Rocket Backhander, guys, great win, 2-game winning streak, and it's gonna be awesome. So You two have fun. Have a great show. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below because these two are going to be awesome for you the rest of the way. Have a great one, everyone.
Dear God, look at the size of Rocket's microphone. Holy crap.
That's awesome. Have a good one, guys.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for checking in with us. If you want to be a part of the show, please go ahead and follow us on the social media. You can tweet us at Tealtown USA. You can hit us up on the Instagram, the YouTube chat, Facebook, SoundCloud, and the Reddits. Of course, this is a show for fans by fans, and we want your interaction. So, that being said, if I can get us both in here, let's see if I can corral these shots.
Good luck.
There is Rocket, and then there's me. All right. Landy's got it going. Now, I just need to change these bottom thirds, and we'll get it from there. But, Rocket, how are you doing this evening?
Great. Just watching a little bit of Desperate Housewives and some Iron Chef, catching up on some Home Shopping Network. And I heard there was a Sharks game on. I didn't watch it though.
Well, if you did not watch this one, and that's for anybody out there, it was a good game, I would say. It was a game that the Sharks needed to win, especially coming home. They had a little bit of an uplift because of Patty's return, and honestly, they just had to go out there and play a good team, especially a division rival, somebody who they will be chasing for the division lead, I think, pretty much the entire season. I don't see it changing too much as it was from last season. Rocket, I mean, since this is your first time coming back onto the show this season, what's kind of stuck out to you at the beginning of the season? What are some of the trends that you're seeing and just how the boys are doing right now?
Oh, God. I hate watching the first 10 games because way too much importance is put into them as far as they look like garbage. This is going to be a miserable season. Guys, I forget, this season is 900 weeks long. So 5 games, yeah, whatever. No big deal. Tire fire, whatever. Arizona went, 11 out the gate. And I mean, I think they still ended up last in their division that season, but whatever. They still eventually won a game. So, hey, we won a game. Big deal. So far, what stuck out to me this season is that this roster is in a position to where their hand kind of has been forced, where that the younger guys have to step up. Pete can't just keep throwing the same veteran players out there because I don't really think there's enough veterans to cover all the spots, and the younger guys are doing a pretty good job of stepping it up and looking like they might add some good flavor to this sauce. So far so good, and there's some familiar faces on the roster and a couple of new guys. Yeah, like that one guy who wasn't here last year. What's his name? Marlowe. He looks good out there.
Yeah, that number 12 guy is.
Yeah, that guy. He's new.
Certainly, having Marlowe back, I think at the beginning of the game, kind of giving him that introduction, it brought tears to the fans' eyes. The fans were all giving a standing ovation, and it was on television. They panned over to Marlowe, and you could see he was visibly emotional, and I mean, rightly so. This is a former captain. This is a player who's been, for prior to going to Toronto, played all of his games with San Jose. So it was a beautiful kind of homecoming. It was really good to see the fans react the way that they did to Marlowe. He is Mr. Shark, and it's good to have him back in teal, and that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, breaking down this game, I believe that the Sharks kind of started off with a pretty good forecheck tonight. I felt like in that first minute and a half, they really brought it to Calgary, and eventually that led to the first goal on the night. It's Timo Meier. Timo at the front of the net redirects the puck with his foot. Mind you, there was no kicking motion or anything like that. It was just skate on ice and just a nice redirection. Couture and Marleau getting the assist there. Couture really driving the play on this one, bringing it through the neutral zone. Marleau kind of starting the breakout. Just all in all, a well-executed goal. And the Sharks really came out and dominated play in that first period. And I think that that's the way that they've got to play. They've got to, really take it to the teams that they're playing in that first period and really establish the forecheck quite quickly. What did you see on that goal, Rocket?
I saw, God, every shift that Timo Meier takes, I just think yeah, he was worth missing playoffs. Definitely. That guy, because without missing playoffs, we wouldn't have been able to draft as high as we did and get him. But God, he's so good to watch. And him and Couture together are really developing a very special chemistry that only gets better the more they have time together on the ice. It's fun to watch. It's going to be a lot more fun as the season progresses.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of the Marleau-Couture shutdown pairing that we had for quite a while.
Yeah.
That being said, Marleau being re-injected onto that line, you could see instant chemistry right away with Couture. They looked very comfortable together. They have an idea of where they're going to be at on the ice. And adding Timo is just another physical dimension that the guys didn't have before. You normally have Donskoy up on that top line with Logan and with Marleau, and now you kind of replace him with Timo, who's got a little bit better of a knack for scoring goals, especially the greasy kind of goals. And to me, that's kind of a mixture of everything you want there. You've got the playmaker in Logan and or Marleau, and you've got the kind of presence in the front of the net in Timo. And Timo, by the way, has a pretty good wicked wrister too. So, these are all elements that combine to make a really good line. And I'm very happy to see that the team has kind of picked up from where it left off with when Patty left. So, really good to see that on that first goal. 10 minutes and 13 seconds into the first period, Kevin Labanc with just a wicked shot basically gets Cam Talbot to bite. He goes down into the butterfly, and Kevin Labanc snipes the top right-hand corner. Hurdle really doing a yeoman's work, lugging the puck through the neutral zone, getting that pass out to Kevin in prime shooting position. And you know what? If Labanc can continue to do that, that's exactly what's needed on that line with Hurdle and with Evander Kane, because you just add that pure sniper / playmaker to those two bulls going to the front of the net, and I can foresee that line doing a lot of damage. Rocket, what did you see on the goal by Banker and just kind of their neutral zone play that really led up to that?
Gosh, I wish I would have been able to watch it, but I was too busy watching cat videos, so I didn't watch the game at all. But I will say that I watched the replay of this, because I watched it happen and I didn't see it go in, and then I watched the replay, didn't see it go in. Watched the replay again, didn't see it go in. It was on the third freaking replay of it that I finally saw the angle, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Now, Kevin Labanc is another one of those guys where he's definitely got some great vision out there on the ice, to where he finds lanes and knows when they're going to open and uses them. And, God, if he's on a line with Evander Kane and Tomas Hurdle, neither of which are psychological slouches, neither one of them are just big doors. They're smart players. They're just huge. I think that you're 100% correct on that if he can continue to make chemistry, that's going to be something special as well.
Yeah, I mean, you put those three together, and I said it before the season, I feel like Hurdle's gonna be an 80-point player, I think. Labanc, I think, has I think has 60 to 70 point ceiling there. We saw him do 56 last year. I think he can, if he shoots the puck a little bit more, he's got a wicked slapper. And I think that he could do some real damage with that. And it would be good to see Kaner with another 30-goal season. You know, for me at least, the litmus test for Kaner is going to be the playoffs. He struggled quite a bit in last season's playoffs, but you know what? Getting a really good regular season in and establishing reestablishing chemistry with Hertl would ultimately help his game out, I think, go to the next level. The Flames did, in that period, happen to put on net 11 shots on goal to 6 shots on goal against the Sharks. They did carry play a little bit after the first goal, and then, you know, the Sharks really got that second goal from Kevin Labanc in transition, which was good because it kind of mellowed the play out from Calgary. And then I would say during the last 4 to 5 minutes of the period, Calgary kind of came back and woke up a little bit and peppered some shots on goal. You know, honestly, the Sharks doing a pretty good job on the penalty kill. They killed off the penalty at 16:52 in the first period. It was a Thomas Hertl tripping call against Mark Giordano, and they did a pretty good job. I really like the penalty kill tonight. They killed off all of Calgary's power plays, and they also chipped in a goal as well. So we'll get to that later on. But then Calgary comes back and takes a penalty at 18:21. It was kind of an abbreviated power play, so we didn't really see too much from it. Really, I think going into that second period is when we saw the Sharks power play. So going into that second period, you knew that Calgary was going to come back and really take it to the Sharks. This is also a team that had played just the prior night, and they got beaten pretty good by Vegas. So you knew that the Flames were going to come back with a response, and Elias Lindholm with his third goal on the campaign. At 6:43 in the second period, TJ Brody with the assist. Kind of a little bit of a breakdown. However, you can't fault that one on Jones at all. And, you know, honestly, Jones playing a pretty good, a pretty good game tonight. That just a wicked tip by Lindholm right in front of the slot. And, it makes it 2-1, and we're starting to kind of see now how the Sharks are going to respond. And no sooner than 16:51, Brent Burns taking a penalty against Michael Frolik, and the penalty kill comes up big. Logan Couture at the end of his shift is just gassed. However, he had a Tomas Hertl streaking down with him. He gets it set up right to Tomas Hertl's wheelhouse, and he wires it to the back of the net. It took no time for that shot to get off. And Rocket, I mean, what kind of chemistry do you see between Hertl and Couture? It just seems like every time there's an issue and DeBoer puts them out together, it's just the safety blanket.
Yeah, it's especially on that kind of play right there. It doesn't. There's so much joy that goes on in that line, and I think that they have a lot of fun in being able to play with each other because they are both such elite level athletes. You know, they are right in each other's minds. They know exactly where each other is going to be on the ice. You know, they know they're just in each other's heads to the point where it's just fun for them. And I think that it shows, and you get those kind of moments. It's really special to be able to watch. I think I really like watching those two together.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's something that will anchor the Sharks' forward depth, going forward for the next 5-6 years. I mean, those two are just know how to play with each other, and whenever there's an issue, you can always put those two back together. It's almost reminiscent of Taves and Kane. Maybe not necessarily as talented as Taves and Kane, but it's kind of a similar safety blanket right there. And as Dave B. Pilot's putting out there, they're constantly moving their feet tonight. And I could not agree more with that. You saw that also on the power play in the second period when the Sharks did get a full power play. That second unit was actually brought on, and I really dig the composition of that one. You've got Thornton, you've got Marleau, you've got Gambrell. You've also got Timo and Erik Karlsson, and that is a deadly unit, and they were just moving the puck consistently. And finally, when you just got to that cathartic crescendo, you had Papa Thornton putting the puck on net and hitting the crossbar, oh so close to his first goal on the season, but they were definitely distributing the puck tonight and doing really well on the power play. And it definitely is evolving, to say the least. I think that they're kind of understanding now that they have to break up 88 and 65, and that's okay. I mean, you have two alpha blue liners, alpha right-handed shot blue liners. You're not going to be able to put them together, unfortunately. And I think now that they've kind of finally settled upon the fact that they are going to have to break them apart, the power play has looked better because of it.
I agree. I think if you put 88 and 65 out, you need to put them out with 3 forwards who do nothing but play defense.
Right.
Like, that's the only way you can balance that pair.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think it was last week sometime on Twitter, we got a little bit of a snippet from practice, and Brent Burns basically said that he doesn't really like playing the Ovi spot, the one-timer. He prefers to get the wrister off, and you can see that tonight. I mean, he was launching the wrister from the point on the power play and looking a lot more comfortable. And you know what? You've got to tailor these power plays to the strengths of the personnel that you have. You can't just necessarily shoehorn players because of the talent level. You want to load them all up together. You really have to tailor it to their strengths.
Yeah, you can't shoehorn your Wookiee.
Yeah, you can't shoehorn the Wookiee. That's for sure. I agree with Sleepy Mofo in the chat. He's saying that 65 and 88 have to QB their own units. And, it just makes them that much dangerous, though. Because for so long, the team was so heavy on power play unit 1. And really last year is when they started understanding that they had to break it out. I don't think Steve Spott was totally committed to that. And so we saw some inconsistencies in the power play last year. But if they continue what they're doing now, I foresee that this power play being in the upper echelon. I would say it's probably maybe in the top 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in the top third of the league is where I would put them if you're having those two two different power play units. That first unit with LeBanc on the right defensive spot, I think is where he naturally needs to play.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That kid's vision. I really appreciate watching him play. He's a very smart kid. He still makes some harebrained mistakes, but then again, so does everybody else on the team.
And you know what? I mean, we did see that tonight. We did see a lot of giveaways, and let me go ahead and pull that up. The Sharks, just going down quickly on the stats, the Sharks had 12 giveaways tonight. We continue to see the issues that have plagued the Sharks since the beginning of the season. So by no means was this a clean game that the Sharks played. However, it seemed like they had enough defensive acumen to not let it burn them. But Rocket, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like Erik Karlsson's still not comfortable out there.
Nah, man, I don't think he's going to be fully comfortable at all 100% ever with this system. I think that he's probably going to be better off in something where, like, he basically is the one who's out there making everything happen, and everybody else is a supporting actor in his cast. And unfortunately, he stepped into a club with a lot of dynamic personalities. I don't want to say like personalities, that's the wrong thing, but like there's a lot of dynamic strengths that all of these boys have. They're not just blatantly interchangeable. And the system that they're using, you know, you have to buy into it, and that means sacrificing your ego. And I don't want to make him sound bad, but like I do think like part of it is just sacrificing your ego and trusting the program. And I think he'll get there. I think that it's still really early on in the season, and I think that, you know, like this doesn't really look too much different than where we were at the end of last year. So given how many new faces we have, I think that it's okay. I'm not panicked about it.
Yeah, I agree as well. I feel like the system play probably has most to do with why Karlsson is not looking as comfortable out on the ice. It still seems like he wants to be the one-man show lugging the puck through the neutral zone, and still doesn't have quite a good grasp upon where his teammates are going to be. We saw a drop-back pass tonight that just kind of went into the middle of the zone, and Calgary was able to pounce on it.
I saw that.
Yeah, and so it's those kind of I would say, like, you're kind of basing that play on understanding where your guys are going to be, and that to me is just a chemistry kind of thing. It's something that you can't really teach. That's just literally just playing with these guys side by side. And yeah, I mean, to me, that's kind of what the recipe is just to continue to let him play it through and let him, you know, kind of fix his own mistakes. We've got a lot of people going on into the chat suggesting Vlasic's regressing, Vlasic's becoming an issue. What have you seen on Vlasic lately, Rocket?
I haven't, though, you know, and that's the thing. Like you take away the Braun and there's the Vlasic, but it's like a peanut butter sandwich without bread, or bread. Yeah, it's just peanut butter. It's weird. I don't know, man. Like I think, again, for the same reason but in a different way, it's the system. And I think that not having Braun here is detrimental to Vlasic's progress. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be like straight shot. Like he's going to have to figure out his own path now that his buddy's not here anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think, to me, what'll be interesting is to see when Šimek comes back, because you know that Peter DeBoer is going to put Šimek back with Burns. So that is going to force a corresponding move. And I think Mario Ferraro is going to be the kid that stays in, and I'm excited to see Vlasic and Ferraro together. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that Ferraro is going to be a nice addition to the blue line.
Yeah, and and so it seemed like, to me, Ferraro is a good complement to where Vlasic is at now in his career arc, where Ferraro can be the kid that really lugs the puck through the neutral zone, really gets the breakout going, and Vlasic can kind of play that Paul Martin role, where he just needs to stay at home, you know, keep his own defensive end sound, and, you know, go from there. You can definitely see it, though, in the way that Vlasic is not very comfortable with putting the puck through the neutral zone. I still feel like he's got. I don't know if it's just some indecisiveness there, or if it's really trying to, I guess, understand where Burns is going to be, and that's no easy task because Burns is definitely a wild man, and you don't know where he's going to go.
That's
And
true.
they never looked all that good together from the times that they've tried to put them together. So, yeah. Sleepy Mofo, really good actually on this one. This is something that I didn't realize, but PDB likes to play his lefty-righty pairs on the blue line. How's that going to work for Ferraro and Vlasic being paired? They're both being lefties. To me, at this point, though, Heat is so polarizing to me because there are times where he can make such a great pass and times that he can really keep the puck in on the blue line and look like a bona fide offensive defenseman who is going to work in the system. And then there are times where he just makes boneheaded decisions, like bringing the puck behind his own net and allowing it to be stripped, or really not understanding situationally where the puck is supposed to be placed. Oh my goodness, this is a guy who has, I think he's got a very, very high ceiling, but I don't know if he's going to find it here.
God, how long has he been up here now? Like 3 years now?
Right, yeah, that he's been that 7th, 8th guy for the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, until he gets passed in the depth chart by, other guys who are coming up in the system, he's going to be fulfilling a role. And if that's right, then yeah, he'll just hang out here. But yeah, I think that right now he's more of an insurance policy than anything else, just as far as injury goes. I don't really see San Jose as wanting to develop him as for a career placement, and it's just sort of well, you're here because these 3 guys have concussions and that guy's foot is in 17 pieces.
Right. Yeah, he's very much that offensive defenseman insurance policy for sure.
Yeah, he's just he's that guy. Okay.
Yeah, just happens to be that extra guy, and
yeah, and when he's not here, or if he gets hurt, then we'll find another guy to be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, Phantom bringing up he doesn't get to play a lot though, and that's true. But you also have to give the coach a reason to play you more, right? I mean, when you're on the ice, you have to show why you deserve the extra ice time. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 there, where it's you've got to play better to get your own ice time. And if you're not, then you're not going to get the ice time. However, more ice time will give you more opportunity to show that you're better than you are. So it's a catch-22, and I don't know how much really PDB wants to be reinventing the wheel here, especially with how slow of a start the Sharks had. If the Sharks had some games to play with and not having to kind of chase from behind in the standings wise, maybe they could give some more time, afford some more time for guys like Heat and guys like maybe your Tyken to get some more time on the ice. But right now we're playing from catch up, and so getting this win goes a long way to getting us back to 500. Currently the Sharks sit at 2-4, and let's go ahead and put a bow on this one. The Sharks take 2 penalties in that third period. Brent Burns holding against Michael Backlund. Michael Backlund really just making Burns take that penalty and holding the stick, and by doing that, Goads Brent Burns into taking the penalty. The Sharks do a good job killing it off. I really like the fact that Barclay Goodrow is front and center on that PK. Barclay Goodrow to me has looked like a different player, and I don't know what you think about that statement, Rocket, but to me he looks like he's just kind of matured and understand that he's got to play an abrasive power forward-esque style to be effective.
Yeah, I don't know if he's necessarily a changed man out there, but I think that all those years of holding the door open and getting cups of coffee with everybody else has finally paid off. I think that it definitely has helped develop his game, and he really is clutch in situations out there where you find yourself sort of with your brows raised, going, "Oh, Barkley Goodrow, really? Okay." So maybe it's time that we all collectively stop being surprised and finally like allowing the guy to just, okay, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, and I like him up there with Jumbo, and
Yeah.
yeah, really playing that net front presence, and that's the way that he's going to be effective. So I think from last season and that golden overtime goal, I think he's just continued his development. And you know what? Power forwards take a little bit of time to develop. It's said numerous times over and over again, but it's true. Barkley was an undrafted free agent coming from Brampton, and he was going to take a little bit of extra time. And I think now we're starting to see him mature, and good for him, because he was definitely on the bubble going into this season. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Good for him. Good for us.
Yes, for sure. And then Brendan Dillon takes a slashing penalty against Michael Frolik. This just happens to be a what do we call this? A technical malfunction, stick breakage.
Oh, what did they? An equipment penalty, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. An equipment penalty. Again, the Sharks do a great job killing that off.
Yeah.
And pretty much taking that momentum all the way into the end of the game. I felt that they were a little bit in a relaxed defensive mode, but I don't think it was full turtle, because they were definitely still trying to transition. So it was good to see the defensive structure kind of take hold in that third period. And you know what? Putting a bow on it, the Sharks played a good game tonight and got the 2 points, and continuing to make progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Skylar Greenberg, just quickly following up on what I had to say, he says, since the Vegas goal, his confidence has shot so high. And I agree. Getting a big overtime goal for Barkley, that will do wonders for a kid's confidence, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Nick Neftepitz saying, sweet hat, Rocket.
Oh, thank you.
And looking good with that Western Conference Champions hat, and that's for sure.
This is a gift from Puck Guy, actually.
I think that it's high time we pull out the reach around segment. What do you think, Rocket?
Oh my God! Is it time?
It's time.
It's time to grab your ankles.
It's time to grab your ankles.
It's the NHL reach around.
So give him a reach around.
Let's do it.
All right. So going across the NHL tonight, we have, I think it was 3 games on tap tonight, including ours. It's the Penguins and the Jets. The Penguins unloading on the Jets tonight, 7-2. That was a wild and crazy game. You had 1 goal apiece in that first period. Zach Austin Reese at 4 minutes and 9 seconds for the Penguins. Matthew Perreault at 1 minute 47 seconds with his second of the season. Then we go to the goal-filled second period with 4 goals scored total in that second period. Jake Gensel on the power play. Mike Scheifele then answers for Winnipeg, and then it just becomes the Penguin show as Lafferty, Simone, Lafferty again, Gensel again, and Zach Austin Reese. So you had 3 Penguins with 2-goal nights, and really just a major league takedown on the Jets. And you know what? That defense is very depleted out there in Winnipeg, and I think it showed tonight.
I don't know. You gotta take goaltending to task on this one. I mean, like Pittsburgh 7 goals and 28 shots, and the Winnipeg 29 shots and 2 goals. I mean, that's goaltending a little bit. I mean, yeah, your D is maybe a little spotty, but goaltending has to do something there. Come on.
Yeah, and we've got Yari, I think Tristan Yari for the Penguins, posting up a .931 save percentage tonight, and Bressois with a a horrible 75% on the save percentage tonight, and oh my goodness, not great at all. But you got lots of goals, and that's plays for a fun hockey game. The second game tonight was the Golden Knights and the Kings. So I mean, I'm sorry everybody, we do have to cover this game because it is part of the reach around. But probably
my only regret is that they didn't both lose. That's it.
Right? Is there a way that both teams can lose and I don't know, maybe plummet down the standings? But the Golden Knights beat the Kings 5-2, coming off of the back-to-back against Calgary, where they spanked Calgary last night. So they're on a 2-game winning streak. Riley Smith with the goal 5 minutes 42 seconds into the first period. Wagner with his goal at 7:49. Max Pacioretty with a goal at 6:59. And we go to the second, where the Golden Knights cashed in twice on the power play. Paul Stastny with 2 goals. Then in the third period, you have Dustin Brown, everybody's favorite neon near, scoring his 3rd goal of the season. And then Mark Stone with his 4th on the season, 4:41. And that's all she wrote on that game. And then, of course, you had tonight's game, the Flames and the Sharks. Sharks prevailing 3-1. Starting to climb out of the cellar, and you know what? They took advantage of a Calgary team on back-to-backs, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, like I gotta hand it to the defense tonight. Like, they did a really great job. Calgary got off 33 shots, right? You know, but they weren't high-scoring chances, and a lot of that has to do with defensive positioning and being able to push Calgary out of those dangerous areas. So as sloppy as these boys have been in the beginning of the season, it's usually like this in the beginning of the season. So if this continues, then I think we have us a shot at having a lot of fun watching these damn Shacks this year.
These Shacks, exactly.
These Shacks. Who we play next?
Let's see. On the schedule, the Sharks, I believe, play on Tuesday. Let's see here. Pulling up the schedule here. Tuesday. Nope, Sharks are not playing on Tuesday. Sharks play Wednesday, sorry. Carolina at San Jose. And it'll be a good game. You get to see Carolina, who's got just an awesome blue line. Them jerks against our boys.
Cool beans.
Yeah, and kind of going into that, I mean, it'll be interesting to see who exactly will be starting off in net. I think it probably will be Martin Jones. He did a very good job tonight. I felt exactly as you were saying, Rocket, that the high danger chances were definitely cut down. But Jones, when called upon, made the saves that he had to make.
Yep.
And the only goal against was a wicked redirect, and you can't fault anybody. I mean, not even Fleury is going to get that one.
No, yeah, that was a weird bounce. You couldn't have called that shot. No way.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but it seemed like the ice was a little bit slushy tonight. It seemed like the puck wasn't really settling for anybody, and they were kind of having to fight through it. You saw Hurdle bobble the puck. You saw Burns bobble the puck. Carlson, and these are guys that like to have the puck on their stick.
Yeah, but I mean, this is how the ice at SAP Center is always.
Yeah, that is true. And mind you, besides the playoffs where they bring in the extra dehumidifiers, but still, it was it was not great ice tonight. But the Sharks found a way to win, and again, just pulling themselves up and dusting themselves off. Hot Wheels 84 the breakaway save was the best of the night. That is very true. That was that breakaway on the power play. Basically saved Hurdle's bacon there because Hurdle made a very bad giveaway in front of his own net, and Jonesy really pulling the boys out and preserving that 2-1 lead. So I totally agree. You got the Sharks, I think, finally have a good little roll here. Hopefully they can take this momentum into the game against Carolina. If not, then just continue to get down to the basics of the game and, really continuing to work on the foundations, right? And going from there. Quickly, Hot Wheels 84, thank you again. Ice is bad because of the CUDA game. That I failed to remember that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that too. Hey, SAP. Well, cheers. This is proof, at least, so you know that it's not always like, oh crap, the second game of a doubleheader, they're gonna lose. Like, yeah, the Ice sucked, but they still managed to find a way to overcome.
Yeah, and the San Jose Barracuda winning tonight 4-3 against the Bakersfield Condors. So nice to see our CUDA kind of rebounding after a tough start, just kind of like the big team. Let's see here. Who's got the goals? Okay, so scoring, Kyler Yamamoto first on the board at 2 minutes in the second period. Joe Kellerman with his first goal on the season. Johnny Brodzinski and Noah Gregor with the assists. Joe Gambardella with the goal for the Condors at 9:10 of the second. So it's 2-1 Bakersfield. Ryan McLeod then scores at 11:37. That makes it 3-1. And then the Barracuda just explode. You got Alexander True with his second, with Jaden Howell-Bigawatz with his assist, second on the season. And then in the third, Noah Gregor, unassisted goal, and Ivan Chekovic with his first on the season, assisted by Joel Kellerman. So good to see the boys doing well, and I think that the Sharks kind of finally found their groove, and I think that the CUDA have started to find their groove too. So, gotta take advantage of the home cooking and really, fire off some wins, get back into the standings. So, it's from my perspective at least, I think they've really started to kind of turn the corner. I think that bringing in Patrick Marleau was exactly the emotional shift and, really the uplift that they needed. What did you think about just the idea of reintroducing Patrick back into the lineup, Rocket?
Well, I knew that the beginning of this season was going to be difficult, and I knew that there were going to be injuries. I wasn't sure what the off season was going to look like and how that was going to dictate what the roster would look like, and I didn't know how everyone's camp would be, but I knew, knowing that it was going to be a couple of matchups against Vegas, that it was going to take its toll. So I knew that having these injuries on the roster was not a good thing for anybody, but I knew they were going to happen. So of course they happened, and I was like, crap. And if they called Patty and was like, yo, everybody here is in 1,200 pieces, can you come and hang out for a hot second? Sure, not doing anything else. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I'm not, don't get me wrong, by no means am I a Marleau worshiper, but I mean, Hockey Hall of Famers are Hockey Hall of Famers, and you got to respect the skills. And if we're getting that guy for league minimum, like, okay, I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it.
Yeah, for sure. You've already got 3 points for league minimum in 2 games? So
2 games, yep.
Not a bad deal at all for Patty. And again, I think just giving that emotional uplift, and nobody's going to replace Pavs, and I think Pavs leaves a big void. And I think that this team is still trying to figure out its identity without him. Bringing Patrick Marleau, I think, helps steer the ship in the right direction. I don't necessarily think that it fills the void there. I think that that's going to have to be Logan's job. He's going to have to figure out how to lead, and that means not just being self-critical and hypercritical of the team, but that means knowing when to pick up the boys when they need to be picked up, and knowing when to really crack the whip. It's the whip and the carrot, right? And it's the gas and the brake. You got to understand when it's time to motivate the players, and you got to understand when it's time to really ease off. So he's gonna figure that out. But I think that there's definitely going to be some growing pains in a transition period, and and AJ saying, did Pavs ever make it to Dallas? Haven't seen him on the score sheet, and
brutal.
Yeah, the great experiment there, or the elderly experiment over in Dallas. I don't think it's doing so hot right now. But they did
right now, but I mean, like I said, the season is 900 games long, so.
Right, and it does take some time to integrate players, and especially into a new system. So I think they'll right the ship, but yeah, I feel like it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take some growing pains. So Rocket, go ahead and give your final thoughts and where the people can find you.
Final thoughts. Hey, what's up? I try real hard not to watch this hockey team because, I really love this hockey team. And the more I watch them, the more I just want to pull my hair out and gouge my eyes in. So, I try not to watch them. And so, as a consequence, I've decided that this entire season, I'm just not going to watch the team. I'm just going to show up and give my opinions about stuff. I'm not ever actually going to watch a game. And it worked out really well for me yesterday. So, hey, my name is Rocket Backhander, and I freaking love Sharks hockey. You can catch me hanging out on Twitter a lot because, just because I live an isolated, lonely life. You guys are my only friends. And on Instagram. So Twitter is rbackhander76. That's capital R, capital B, little backhander 76. Or photographic representation of my life as a Sharks fan. Ooh. Living out here in the middle of BFE. It's Rocket Backhander, one word on Instagram. That's it, lady.
Yes, and as far as I'm concerned, last thoughts. The Sharks, again, just have to continue with the basics, doing a good job on the forecheck, really creating their own offense, and really continuing the strong neutral zone play. And if they do those things, it's going to be it's going to get better, and this team is going to have a lot of success. As far as where you can find me on the social media garbage at Eric Landy. That's ErikLandi. And for everybody here at Teal Town USA, we really appreciate you joining us, and check us out across all of the social media platforms. And have a great night, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again on the next broadcast.